And this pretty much confirms my theory of what is inside the Fortnite cube. So guys, the Fortnite cube event has just left an anti-gravity rune and it's on its way to making another. Make sure to watch to the end of the video, boys and girls, to learn what is inside the Fortnite cube. How we doing, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about pretty much everything the Fortnite cube. We're going to be looking at what everyone wants to know, what is inside it, and where is it going, and what is it going to do to the Fortnite map, along with some never before seen on YouTube evidence of where the Fortnite cube is going next from the Fortnite leakers themselves. But before we get into the video, guys, if you are loving the Fortnite cube event so far, make sure to smash a fat like on this video, and also if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on for more updates on what the Fortnite cube does next. So guys, as you already know, the Fortnite cube has already made the anti-gravity rune and it's on its way to make another one wherever that is. We're gonna see if we can pinpoint that later in the video, guys, but basically this is kind of making my, my Fortnite theory that it's gonna hit Tilted Towers a little more relevant, guys. Click on the top right of the screen if you haven't seen that video already. I put a bunch of insight into that video, worked really hard on it, but anyways, guys, so guys, to figure out what's inside the cube, first we need to go and look at what it's done to the outside environment. We already know that this cube can do multiple different things, as like, appear out of nothing from the rift. We know that it can move on its own, and it's kind of like a magnet, so it has some magnetic properties. It can pretty much, cast a rune and make things, start floating, but that's a little later in the video. We're going to explain the runes a little later, and there's actually a secret meaning, guys, so make sure to keep watching until the very end. A lot of people have been speculating that this rune here, the rune that has the anti-gravity around it, since it's not sticking to the cube, it's obviously not going to be, directly linked to the cube. And what I mean by that is that the cube does not have those properties on its own. The cube actually, has its own specific properties, but the cube has the ability to cast those abilities out into the real world, meaning that this cube has some kind of immense power. So a great way to think about it is kind of like how a magic wand can cast a spell. It's kind of like that. The magic isn't inside the wand, but rather the wand casts the spell like that. The wand is casting the runes. So in this, example here, the Fortnite cube is casting the runes, and then that's what's giving the environment all this crazy anti-gravity stuff. But as you know, a magic wand does not only have one magic spell, so this is what people are thinking, that the rune is only one of 7, which obviously if we look in the Fortnite code, I think that's what they're referring to in the code here. I'll put a picture of it on the screen for you guys. So what we know so far about the cube is that it's on the way and it's moving. It's going to create 7 of these possibly different runes, and if they are different, guys, what kind of different elemental runes would you like to see in Fortnite, guys? Would you like to see a fire one where the whole area around it is just full with flames and you got to avoid the flames? Let me know down in the comments, guys. Lots of people online are saying that these runes, once all 7 of them are, done and they've all been burned into the ground, they all have their different powers. They're all going to interact with each other in a different way and somehow break the map. Here's a picture. This is not an official picture. This is a concept art of what the, the whole area of the world could look like if this all happens and it all goes down. But guys, there is a little more meaning behind the runes, and we're going to get into that a little later into the video. But right now, what we're going to do, we're going to analyze what the cube has done within the past few days that it's been in existence in the Fortnite world. So here I have a map of everything the Fortnite cube has done in just about the roughly a week period that it has been in existence in the game. So on the first day, it didn't really do anything much. I think Epic really just wanted to assert the fact that the cube is moving, really just doing its own thing. Then on day 2, it moved itself out of the desert and into the green area. Then just on the 3rd day, it didn't really do much. Well, actually no, it got itself on the road and then kind of went itself around Fatal Fields. People thought that it was going to do something to Fatal, but obviously that's not the case here. On the 4th day and the 5th day, they kind of go conjoined, because obviously at the very end of the 4th day, I think it was at 12 a.m., it kind of did its little anti-gravity rune thing. So it cast the first rune, which the rune happened to be anti-gravity, which I think was pretty cool as well. So I'm pretty sure this day was pretty much just to emphasize that the cube can cast itself runes, and that anti-gravity rune was not directly attached to the cube. It's a little difficult talking about it unless you actually see it in person, but you know what I mean. And then obviously on the 6th day, it scaled up the whole mountain, not really caring about gravity at all, went over the mountain, then ended up going back down again. So for whatever reason that is, I guess it just did its own thing, and then it's over the river now. So this is where people are starting to think that Tilted Towers was, the actual target of all of this, and I'm going to be making another video later today talking about how that might actually be the case, so make sure to keep your eyes out for that as well. So guys, next part of the video, what we're going to be doing is looking at what is inside the Fortnite cube, but to understand what is actually inside it, guys, we need to look at similar items that, you know, have the same effects as the Fortnite cube itself. So first item we're going to be looking at is the Hop Rocks. We weren't into Fortnite at the end of Season 3. There was this whole plot of how there was a giant meteor coming down from the sky and that it was going to destroy the whole island and possibly, you know, have a new Fortnite map, but obviously that was not the case. But instead, we got a bunch of these cute little pop rocks that if you do like, you know, ingest them and eat them, they give you a bunch of, you know, anti-gravity powers. You can jump around pretty much just, you know, just ignoring all gravity, and that's why this is on, you know, this part of the video, because if you touch the cube and, you know, obviously you have the anti-gravity rune as well, you kind of bounce, and then you also have, you know, the anti-gravity effect as well. So that's why that's on here. So a lot of people are saying that since the, you know, the cube came from the rift itself, that this is somehow related, that the cube is from space. Because guys, you really have to understand the lore of the story, because obviously the you know, the meteor came down, it had the visitor in it, and, you know, the bad guy, he wanted to launch a, you know, a rocket into space, and, you know, having all the pop rocks from, you know, the meteor in it, all that stuff, you know, he launched it into space, obviously created a, you know, a rift in time. That's what we have here. That's the giant rift that was in the sky, and then the rift eventually, you know, it turned itself into a cube for whatever reason, and now it is causing these runes all over the map. So guys, that's what I'm thinking, that, you know, they have to be related in some ways, the Hop Rocks and the cube itself. Another item you could put on this list is the Rift to Go, obviously because the cube is part of the Rift, literally part of the universe. The Rift is literally just the part of the Rift in a little snow globe. You could definitely see that, you know, the correlation between both of them. I'm sure if the cube, whatever it does, wherever it like activates or decides to break the world or whatever, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of rifts open up or even close, depending on how the cube, you know, decides to activate. Guys, let me know down below what you guys think. Once the cube does whatever it's going to do after that in Season 6, do you guys think that the, you know, the Rifts to Go will disappear along with it, or they will stay as part of the inventory that we always get? Now guys, let's get right into the juicy stuff, guys, the stuff you guys are all here for. We're going to be looking at the never before seen on YouTube evidence of what the cube is going to be doing next. Alright guys, so we're here back on Twitter, and what we're going to be doing is looking at something that pretty much everyone missed. Like all of the Fortnite leakers, everyone is, you know, very English based, but I found a Spanish Fortnite leaking Twitter, and basically they have some stuff that not a lot of people are talking about. So we're going to go to their photos and we're going to go scroll all the way down to where I found this very important, you know, picture here. And apparently no one else has found this yet, but we're going to find it here in a second. Alright guys, so we're here at the tweet now, and this tweet here is what we need to see. So apparently this is a spectrogram of the anti-gravity file. You know, when you're in the anti-gravity general area, you know, a certain sound plays when you're in that area. But if you put that into a spectrogram and you actually get something really crazy that comes out of this. So we're going to click on this tweet right here, and this is going to show us all the information we need of what is inside the Fortnite cube and where is it going. So right now what we're going to do, we're going to try to translate the tweet. We can almost confirm that these images will go to Raft Loot. So obviously, if you don't know what that means, obviously that means Loot Lake in Spanish. But guys, this is where things get really interesting. You see a bunch of the runes here, but this is the picture we need to look at here. This picture, we won't see it immediately, but this actually shows a player near Loot Lake, guys, and this is insane. Nobody really has caught on to this. It only has, you know, just under 1,000 likes, only over 100 retweets. Nobody in the mainstream has actually caught on to this yet, and I'm surprised no one like Ali A, no one like, you know, Drifter or anyone has caught on to this huge tip. But let's get into it. Let's look at what the picture actually means. So we can take a look at this, and we can obviously see that this is Loot Lake. You're gonna see a bunch of the dots here correlate to this here, and basically this is supposed to be a spectrogram of a player having the storm, you know, zoom in on them and then basically be at Loot Lake. You can see all the runes here. These aren't the runes, but, you know, these are supposed to, you know, identify, you know, the main identifying features between this picture and the one before. Here is another person just sort of, you know, clarifying that this is actually what's going to be happening, because if you don't know, you know, Fortnite likes to, you know, use stuff like spectrograms in this to make their game all cryptic. They did it with the rocket launch. They did it with the meteor with the take the L emote. It was very funny. I had a great laugh at that. But you can literally see the shape of Loot Lake is in this spectrogram, and this this is actually insane, guys. Like, this means you can even see you can literally see that it says Loot Lake there. If you really like look at it from a certain perspective, this is what it says. I'm trying to do my best to translate most of these tweets. So this person's saying that this anti-gravity rune will, you know, have this, just a permanent anti-gravity rune at Loot Lake. So, you know, you can just jump around easily. Because if you don't know, when you play at Loot Lake, you know, it's usually a struggle trying to build with the stuff from the house. If you land here and then just try to build over here, it's actually quite a long distance if you've seen it in first person. But that's basically it, guys. Nobody has really caught on to that crucial fact that this pretty much confirms that something at some point is going to happen to Loot Lake. Anyways, with all of that said, boys and girls, we can honestly conclude that what is inside the Fortnite cube has to do with the universe itself. It is not exact of what we will actually find inside it, but what we do know is that it is literally the essence of the universe itself, which can take many forms, and one of those forms could be just wiping out Loot Lake as well. Anyways, that is going to do it for this video. So if you guys enjoyed at any point, make sure to leave a like on this video. Make sure to comment down below what your favorite part of the video was and whether you agreed with me or not. And also, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you never miss a Fortnite video. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.